So today we're going to do the problem TwoSum. It's the first question on Leetcode. So if you go to Leetcode, you'll find the problem TwoSum as the first question. Let's have a look. So basically, where's this code? Okay. We're given an array of integers, nums, and an integer target. You return the indices of the two numbers such that they add up to the target. So for example, you have 1 and you have 300. Those are your numbers, right? And then they want you to return the indices 0, which is 1, the value is 1, and the indices 2, which is 300, so that you can get, when you add the values of the first two index, you will get 301, which is maybe your target value. So that is just like a high level interpretation of the question, and as we go along we will find some test cases that we might use. Okay, so the first step is to assuming, okay, let's just do it on Leetcode, right? You can write code, create the class solution. So the class solution. Then after that, you want to create a method. So it will be public int array. Then you call it TwoSum, the name of our problem. Then we are going to be we'll need an integer array. So you, based on our given an array of integers, so an integer array, you will initialize it that way, and we will call it, say, nums, right? And then we will also need an integer, just an integer, a primitive integer called target, which is our target value. So all good. After that, the next thing is we will have to decide on a data structure that we're going to use. So mostly for this type of questions, the most efficient data structure is integer, and that basically it will be taking two integer values as our key and also our value. Then we will say we are numbing to index the number to index. Then to declare it, we call new to create the object, and we have to specify which type of map. Basically, you are done with the first part of declaring the data structure. So the next thing, we want to loop through our values, and we want to loop from the first index 0, to the last, and we are going to be checking if the first index contains our target value, like our target value minus the number at the index. So we can just write something so that we can visualize. So we will need a for loop. We will initialize for I is equals to 0, I is less than. So we need our nums. Remember, our nums is an array, so we want it to loop through the entire distance of the entire length of our array, and then called I++. Okay, so the next thing, we'll be checking if our map, if our map num to index contains the key. So for example, we want to get to 300. So contains key will check through our map and look if there is a key that's our target value, for example 301, you see. So if it contains key, our target value subtracted by the specific number in a given index. So maybe it's index 2. So our value here is in index 1. So it's gonna take our target and subtract the index, first index. Let me see. So we close it because we have our target and our num. Okay. So we're going to check if our map contains the key of which the value of our target subtracted when you subtract the number from our target. I don't know if that makes sense. So, and if it contains, we will return a new integer array. We will say num to index. It will get the value, so we need to get the value, and we're getting the value in our target. That results from our target subtracted by the num. So basically we now get our value, and we are going, after getting it, we are storing it in the ith index. So what we get from targets minus nums I, we return it to there's a target we need to put there. Okay, yes, we store it in the ith index, and then after that we need to put num to index dot put. We need to put it in our array, like we need to put it in our ith index of the nums array. Yes, nums dot put, that way. Okay, then we close our for loop. That's it. Close our for loop. Yes, and then we need to error check. For example, if we get if someone enters something that is not one of our expected values, or in our, maybe he enters a number or a letter or a word, we need to throw an exception. So that this is like exception handling in Java. So we will throw an new illegal argument exception, so that if we get arguments that we can't handle, it will just throw a new we enter a number, a valid number. Yes, and then we close our class. So basically this is the entirety of it. So we can run and see if we got it right. Yes, and we passed our test cases. So basically this code, let's see. It loops through the nums array, and then because we have stored our values in like a hash table or a map, we will use contains key to check where our target is, and we subtract from as you can see here, we subtract the key from the previous one, and then we return the new integer array. So we will return a new integer because we need two values to be returned, right? And then we will get this value that we calculated from our previous contains key method, contains key call dot I, and then we will put the value of nums dot I, which is now the previous, just the previous index that, like for example here is 0, and then I will be the new index that we calculated, like from where our target is, where our target value was. And then we error handle. That's it. I wish I could explain better, but this is the best I could come up with. So thank you for listening.